Hello, I'm Mario Toneguzzi, managing editor of Canada's podcast. Joining me today is Pierre Cle, who is Chief Economist of BDC and Vice President of Research. Thanks for joining us today, Pierre.
Hi, Mario.
Okay, we're going to talk a little bit about ESG, the evolution of environmental, social, and governance standards. Uh, you know, it's kind of like a buzzword, a buzz phrase these days out there. Why is this so important for businesses?
Well, more and more investors and stakeholders are requiring large corporations to report on the ESG. And we are saying that that's the reason why we did this study. We interview more than 100 large corporations, including government, because they also are important.
Yeah.
And we interview also more than 1,200 small business. So businesses who are supplying the suppliers of large corporation.
Mhm.
And what we see is the action of reporting on ESG is really starting now. 82% of large buyers are requiring their suppliers to report their ESG activity. So this is really happening right now.
So why is like sustainable procurement so important, and why is it basically unavoidable these days?
Well, ESG is has three different angles, like the environment, the social aspect, and the governance. So the environment, I think everybody agree that we have committed as a country, like other countries, to reduce our carbon footprint. So in order to do that, everybody has to make an effort. On the social front, well, also everybody recognize that we have to take more action to make sure that we have a more diversified workplace. So that's the main reason right now. There's really a movement to really take this turn in terms of the ESG, and we are seeing that it's really happening.
hmm Now, Pierre, when you look at this whole issue of ESG, what is the cost to business of not adopting ESG and standards along those ways?
Well, I think consumers and also investors are now they want businesses who are adopting ESG practice. So I think the cost is to isolate yourself, and also this consumer will choose. They have a choice. They have, as you know, the business community is very competitive, so
Yeah.
people choose their businesses in term of their own what is important for them. And more in our society, the environment, also the diversity, are two aspects that are very important for consumers, but also for investors.
Yeah. Now, Pierre, when you look at ESG, which of these three are suppliers being most asked to report on these days?
Well, number one is the environment. And because, yeah, like I said, as a country, we have committed ourselves to reduce our carbon footprint. So obviously, everybody wants to help on that. Social is also important, and governance, which is kind of an umbrella to make sure that you report, you calculate your carbon footprint, also the action you take on the diversity side. But the number one is definitely the environment.
Okay, now when we look at this issue and obviously how important it is for businesses, et cetera, and I'm presuming that this is important for a business as small as, say, someone like me, like who I may have myself, and just maybe even have a couple of employees, to a big company, right?
Well, the big companies, they get pressure from their investors and consumers. So in order to respond to that need, they turn to their supply chain, because every large corporation, they are major buyers. They buy from a large number of small business. So that's what we are seeing now. In our report, we are saying that 82% of major buyers are making requirement with their suppliers to have to report on ESG. And actually, both the large corporations and small business, they see that as an advantage for Canadian businesses. Because if you want to reduce your carbon footprint, to have a supplier that is not outside the country, it makes sense in terms of you reducing the carbon footprint of your supply chain. So we see a lot of example where actually this is going to be beneficial for small business in Canada.
So, you know, how does someone or how does a business start or integrate ESG into its operations?
Well, first, you have to have a governance structure. So you have to make sure that it's a priority inside your company.
Yeah.
After that, you evaluate what is the biggest sustainability issue in your company. So, which is quite different from one business to another. So, for example, if you transport a lot of products, obviously, this is going to have an impact on your carbon footprint. In other organizations, the diversity is more important, or it's more relevant to that company. So it's important to evaluate what is your biggest opportunity in terms of the ESG. After that, you look at action that you can take to reduce or to improve your reporting or to improve the action that you are taking, create a plan and act on it. And that's something also that you have to continue to do all the time because, businesses, the environment is changing, the business world is changing. So that's not something that you just make a plan and you forget about it. You have to act on your plan, repeat, all the time.
Now, I guess, just in conclusion here, Pierre, I guess, the bottom line here is a bottom line thing, right? Isn't it? That businesses need to spend some time and resources on ESG because it's going to impact dollars and cents, isn't it? Eventually.
Definitely. And there's a misperception that it's costly. Yes, you have to respond to some requirement, but our research is showing that businesses who are reporting on ESG and they are actually performing better than other in terms of their profitability and growth. There's going to be in the next decade, there's going to be a lot of opportunity for small business to be innovative, creative, to respond to this need. And the one who are going to do that, they're going to grow better.
All right. Wonderful. Thanks very much, Pierre, for joining us today.
Thank you.
All right. That was Pierre Cle, who is Chief Economist and Vice President of Research for BDC. I'm Mario Toneguzzi, Managing Editor of Canada's Podcast. Thanks for joining us today.